everyone. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Jesse Zacharias for plopping this wonderful little gem into my inbox for the art contest. I'm planning to change my banner on my YouTube page for this, and I think it came out really well, and I just love the way it looks. This incredulous look on his face, I'm definitely keeping it, so thank you very much. I'm going to link Jesse's information down below. It sounds like he's a budding artist that would love to get some more work, and he says he's going to try to clean this up a little bit and get me some with some more expressions. But I'm really pleased with this. I can't tell you how much this tickled me to see this. So thank you very much, Jesse. Now, on with this very long and very pointed discussion about fake news. Well, do this one from Kathleen Parker. She's a writer, an opinion writer for the Washington Post. And I have never seen more hysterical garbage in my life. So let's just take a look through this. This got prominent coverage, prominent placement on MSN.com. Now, I'm sure many of you don't go to MSN.com, but the vast majority of people who buy their computers and use IE, their first page is MSN, and this was the article that was prominently displayed. So believe me, it got a lot of exposure, way more exposure than I'll ever get. And don't get me wrong, I am not saying that this is sour grapes. Like, boy, I wish I had the exposure that she did. I'm saying that this garbage, this hysterical harridan, gets a platform where she can spread this insane claptrap. And it gets paid for it. It's absolutely astounding to me. So I'm going to read a little bit of this to you. And by the way, Kathleen, I'm keeping this bookmarked. You better hope I don't get a wide audience like you do, because I am bringing this up in 21 months, November of 2018. And we're going to see how good your prediction is. Good news. In 2 years, we'll have a new president. Bad news, if we make it that long. Jesus fucking Christ. My good prediction is based on the law of the pendulum. What? Look, Kathleen, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but this election broke all the fucking laws, just like Brexit did. All the conventional wisdom has proven to be long on convention and short on wisdom. You better get with the program. Enough Americans, including most independent voters, will be so ready to shed Donald Trump and his little shop of horrors that the 2018 midterm elections are all but certain to be a landslide. No, make that a mudslide sweep of the House and Senate. You don't know that. Right now, Trump's approval ratings on his executive orders are much higher. They're over 50%, which is amazing with the American public. You usually can't get them to agree on anything. It's a 50-30 split with, the rest of them, watching TV. They don't know. They're stuck on Facebook. If Republicans took both houses in a groundswell of the people's rejection of Obamacare, Democrats will take it back in a tsunami of protest. Yeah, it's just, people just swing back and forth. There's no principles. There's nobody that's just saying, I just don't want something. Maybe he does a lot of things that people like. And if everybody approves of it, why will this mythical pendulum swing back and forth? Maybe it will just stay where it is. People say, hey, I like this guy. It did that with FDR, went for 4 terms, for Christ's sake. And so don't give me this pendulum crap. If he's doing the things that he said he was going to do, which he is, holy shit, maybe this will work in his favor. Maybe it'll work in the Republicans' favor. Once ensconced, it would take a Democratic majority approximately 30 seconds to begin impeachment proceedings, selecting from an accumulating pile of lies, overreach, and just plain sloppiness. Are you talking about your particular industry right now, Kathleen? Because your industry right now is nothing but lies, overreach, and just plain sloppiness. And if it isn't that going on in the straight news section, it's shrieking crazies like you writing this kind of garbage. Thus far, Trump and his henchmen, Like he's a fucking Bond villain. Have conducted a full frontal assault on civil liberties, open government, and religious freedom. What are you talking about? What exactly are you talking about? Religious freedom. What, because people that don't live in this country aren't allowed to come in from various seven different other countries that may want to do harm to the United States. This is an assault on religious freedom. Not the people that are already here. The people that don't have any constitutional rights because you don't live in this country. She doesn't even understand what the hell she's talking about. So let's take a look at the sloppiness from your side of the aisle, Kathleen. Remember, I'm keeping this. I'm bringing it back. In 21 months, I am bringing this shit back. So be ready. So the Federalist has done a wonderful compilation of all the fake news that has been going on since Trump's electoral victory. So strap in, guys. Let's get started. Early November, spike in transgender suicide rates. After Trump's electoral victory on November 8th, rumors began circulating that multiple transgender teenagers had killed themselves in response to the election results. There was no basis to these rumors. Nobody was able to confirm them at the time, and nobody has been able to confirm them in the 3 months since Trump was elected. Nevertheless, the claims spread far and wide. Guardian writer and editor-at-large of Out, Zach Stafford, tweeted the rumor, which was retweeted more than 13,000 times before he deleted it. He later posted a tweet explaining why he deleted the original viral tweet, and his explanatory tweet was shared a total of 7 times. Meanwhile, Pink News writer Dominic Preston wrote a report on the rumors, which garnered more than 12,000 shares on Facebook. Do you see what's happening here? It doesn't matter whether it's a real or not. You put it out there, you get it in people's brains, it goes viral. Yeah, sure, you've done your due diligence, you've printed the retraction, which gets shared a total of 7 times versus 13,000 times. How do you think this changes people's brains? What do you think this does to people's perceptions of what's going on out there? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? I mean, we see what happens with these jerks that go out there and start rioting and everything else. They don't even know what's really going on because the people that are supposed to be telling us aren't. At Mike, Matthew Rodriguez wrote about the unsubstantiated allegations. His article was shared more than 55,000 times on Facebook. Urban legend debunker website Snopes wrote a report on the rumors and listed them as unconfirmed rather than false. Snopes is a well-known lefty bias. Snopes' resources were 2 Facebook posts, since deleted, that offered no helpful information regarding the location, identity, or circumstances of any of these suicides, and that report was shared 19,000 times. At Reason, writer Elizabeth Nolan searched multiple online databases to try to determine the identities of the existence of the allegedly suicidal youth. She found nothing. As she put it, teenagers in 2016 don't just die without anyone who knew them so much as mentioning their deaths online for days afterwards. And she's right. Just the same, the stories hyping the idea garnered at least nearly 100,000 shares on Facebook alone, contributing to the fear and hysteria surrounding Trump's win. Kathleen, you are buying into this fear and hysteria, or you're creating it, or both, with your insane opinion piece. It is garbage, and you're garbage for putting it out there. It is on you and the rest of your people in the media who are throwing this garbage out there and creating this hysterical fear that gets people out there beating other people in the streets, throwing punches at people they don't agree with, shooting people. It is all on you. You and all your fake news bullshit. It's all on you. And we're calling you out on it because everything you've done has been part of your reporting. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves because you're just lying. You're just lying and trying to gin up everybody to get them against each other. December 1st, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but I'll link the article. I'm going to go through some of the more salacious ones. December 1st, the 27-cent foreclosure. At Politico on December 1st, Lorraine Woolert published a shocking essay claiming that Trump's pick for Secretary of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, had overseen a company that foreclosed on a 90-year-old woman after a 27-cent payment error. Holy fuck! What a monster! According to Woolert, after confusion over insurance coverage, a One West subsidiary sent Ossie Lofton a bill for $423.30. She sent a check for $423. The bank sent another bill for 30 cents. She sent a check for 3 cents. And in November 2014, the bank foreclosed. Shocking. The story received widespread coverage, being shared nearly 17,000 times on Facebook. The New York Times' Stephen Ratner shared it on Twitter, 1,300 retweets, as did NBC News' Brad Chaffee, 1,200 retweets, and the AP's David Beard, 1,900 retweets, and many, many others. The problem? Well, the central scandalous claim of Woolert's article was just untrue. As the Competitive Enterprise Institute's Ted Frank pointed out, the woman in question was never foreclosed on, never lost her home. Moreover, it wasn't even Mnuchin's bank that brought the suit. Politico eventually corrected these serious and glaring errors. Oh, how big of them. But the damage was done. The story had been repeated by numerous media outlets, including the Huffington Post, shared 25,000 times on Facebook, the New York Post, Vanity Fair, and many others. You all are a bunch of frauds. Every single fucking one of you are a bunch of liars and frauds. And the fact that you get paid to be this way, to be political propagandists, is absolutely disgusting. You don't know what you're talking about anymore. You don't even know what you're reporting on. The only thing you know is pure emotional hatred. January 20th, Nancy Sinatra's complaints about the inaugural ball. On the day of Trump's inauguration, CNN claimed Nancy Sinatra was not happy with the fact that the President and the First Lady's inaugural dance would be the tune of Frank Sinatra's My Way. The problem? Nancy Sinatra had never said any such thing. CNN editor updated the article without explaining the mistake they made. No, we're just going to shove it under and hide it because we're lazy on top of it. The great MLK Jr. bust controversy. On January 20th, Time reporter Zeke Miller wrote that the bust of Martin Luther King Jr. had been removed from the White House. This caused a flurry of controversy on social media until Miller issued a correction. As Time put it, Miller had simply not even asked anyone in the White House if the bust had been removed. He simply assumed it had because he had looked for it and had not seen it. Jesus fucking Christ. How do these people get through school? Oh, right. Mizzou's a journalism school. No wonder. There's no attention to excellence. There's no journalistic pride. There's no nothing. It's so sick. It's a psychosis at this point. These people are mentally sick. January 20th, Betsy DeVos, grizzly fighter. During her confirmation hearing, Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos was asked whether schools should be able to have handguns on their campuses, or just guns. As NBC News reported, DeVos felt it was best left to locales and states to decide. She pointed out that one school in Wyoming had a fence around it to protect the students from wildlife. I would imagine, she said, that there's probably a gun in the school to protect from potential grizzlies. This was an utterly non-controversial stance to take. DeVos was simply pointing out that different states and localities have different needs, and attempting to mandate a nationwide one-size-fits-all policy for every American school is imprudent. And I would highly agree with that. You need to put up hurricane protection and maybe gator protection around the Everglades in Florida. In Alaska, you may have to double insulate or do things to make sure that you never lose electricity or heat. You have different, some use heating oil, some use natural gas, some use electricity. And some of them are going to have different ways to protect people in the schools, to protect the kids. There are grizzlies and all sorts of critters in Alaska. How did the media run with it? By lying through their teeth. Betsy DeVos says guns should be allowed in schools. They might be needed to shoot grizzlies. What the fuck, Slate? It's not what she said at all. Betsy DeVos, schools may need guns to fight off bears, the daily beast. Citing Grizzlies, education nominee said states should determine school gun policies. Betsy DeVos thinks guns may be necessary to protect students from grizzly bears. Betsy DeVos says guns shouldn't be banned in schools because grizzly bears. Betsy DeVos tells Senate hearings that she supports guns in schools because of grizzly bears. Trump education pick cites potential grizzlies as a reason to have guns in the schools. The intellectual dishonesty at play here is pretty hard to overstate. DeVos never said or even intimated that every American school, or even many of them, might need to shoot bears. She merely used one school as an example of the necessity of federalism as a local as possible control of the education system. Rather than report accurately on her stance, these media outlets create a fake news event to smear a reasonable woman's perfectly reasonable opinion. They want to make her look stupid. They want to ruin her. They want to ruin everybody associated with Trump. And they will lie their fucking teeth off to make it happen. January 27th, the photoshopped hands affair. On January 27th, Observer writer Dana Schwartz tweeted out a screenshot of Trump that, in her eyes, proved that Trump had photoshopped his hands bigger for a White House photograph. Just her opinion. There's no evidence. Fuck evidence. We don't need that shit. Her tweet immediately went viral, being shared upwards of 25,000 times. A similar tweet by Disney animator Joaquin Baldwin was shared nearly 9,000 times. The conspiracy theory was eventually debunked, but not before it had been shared thousands upon thousands of times. Meanwhile, Schwartz tweeted that she did not know for sure whether or not the hands were shopped. Her correction tweet was shared a grand total of 11 times. Yeah, she did the damage she wanted to do. They all know what they're doing. And here's the thing. All you SJWs, you are being used. All you kids out there running out of your classes, screaming at people, holding up your fucking signs, you're all being used and manipulated because you're lazy. Not a one of you actually goes out there and tries to find out if any of this is really true. You're lazy. Every single one of you lazy thinkers, lazy. And you are letting yourself be used by these assholes who are getting us to fight each other instead of fighting actual authoritarianism. And here Trump is dismantling authoritarianism. Do you know what this is like, guys? If you ever saw the movie The Exorcist, in The Exorcist, and no, I am not saying there are demons running around, okay? So please fuck off. This is just an analogy. In The Exorcist, the demon took over the little girl. Possessed her, but it didn't do it all at once. It kind of came out odd times. She did weird things, but then she'd be normal. It was hard to tell. It wasn't until somebody came in and actually stood up to this demon that its true face was known, and it did as much damage as it could on the way out, killing one of the priests and tearing up the apartment, and spitting pea soup everywhere, and destroying these people's psyches. Did everything it could on its way out, but it was eventually driven out. To me, social justice is just like that. It is on the way out. It is losing and losing fucking big time. And the media is part of that, and it knows it's losing and losing fucking big time. And instead of pretending anymore, or throwing in actual news, or doing a little due diligence on their fact checking, they've said, fuck it. Fuck it all. We're lying our asses off. We'll do anything we can to damage these people on the way out. But make no mistake, they are on the way out. They are going and going hard. And this is how insane it's gotten. I want you to listen to this clip from CNN by Chris Cuomo.
The president, with all due respect, is once again off on the facts. And that's not something that any of us have any desire to say on a regular basis, but it keeps being true. Fake news is the worst thing that you can call a journalist. It's like an ethnic disparagement.
Yes, you heard that correctly. This motherfucker is now so butthurt, and they are so scared that they are trying to make their industry, the people in the press, some sort of civil rights group. So that if you yell fake news at them, this is the same as calling a black person a nigger. This is how insane they have gotten. This is how crazy they have gotten. They are losing. They are going. And I, for one, am laughing the whole way down. Let them burn. They have lied to us for 20, 25 years, maybe longer. Ever since Clinton took over the White House and really transformed it into a corrupt cesspool, it has been going on ever since then. The Democrats have been using, and social justice has been using every dirty trick since then. The Republicans and the Democrats all turned into this big political machine in bed with the media, growing their power, taking it from us, and throwing it in academia, throwing it everywhere else. And Trump is the antidote to that. And it's going to be a long and tough road. And guys like Milo Yiannopoulos are seeing it, with Berkeley getting burnt down. And now the press is knowing. They know that they are on the way down unless they make some significant changes in their model. And they are too emotional and too caught in to do it. So they're going down. They know they're going down. And it's a pleasure for me to see, because they're all a bunch of fucking liars. Hysterical nonsense. Kathleen, you and I got a date, November 2018. I look forward to it. All right, guys, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, press that like button. Share these videos out. Help me get a little bit more subscribers going. Help this channel grow. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you're having a lot of fun. It's coming along. Take a look there at the list. Those are all the ways you can get a hold of me. So if you want to send me hate mail, you want to send me email, you want to send me hate tweets, you want to send me sex tweets, I'll take them all. And please, start commenting down there. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.